Welcome to the Wedding Workflow Podcast, a show for wedding professionals, engaged couples, or anyone involved in the wedding world. We'll be talking about everything from picking a venue, what to look for in a photographer, how to work with your DJ to get people on the dance floor, and how to handle all the craziness of planning a wedding. We hope you get something valuable from our show and our guests, and invite you to join us every Wednesday here at the Wedding Workflow Podcast. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Workflow Podcast. I'm your host, Adam. We also have Carson.
What's up?
And then today we have Lindsey Poyar. Is that how you spell it? Is that how you pronounce it?
Lindsey Poyar.
Poyar.
I love how hard you pronounce that.
Poyar. Like it's French.
Ooh, so
is it
Frenchy.
French?
No, I don't. I think it's Hungarian actually.
Oh, that's kind of
yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
And my grandma has this story of when she came over to the USA, it was Poyar with a J instead of a Y.
Oh.
And then they made a mistake and now it's Poyar.
That's crazy how many people's names get changed.
Yeah.
Just got changed when they moved to America. And people that were writing their name just was this is how it's going to be spelled
how
now.
did you learn that? I need to learn stuff like this about my family. I have no idea. Did you do one of those DNA things?
No, I didn't do one of
You
those.
did?
I think it's just something that my grandma was talking about one day.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. No.
Gosh, I guess I guess it's my grandma's fault. She needs to get more with it and figure this out.
Come on, Grandma. We want to know these things.
I need to know what happened.
Yeah, I know mine's pretty easy because we all of our names are very directly Robb is an Irish name, Muir is my Scottish heritage, and then Heiser is German, and then my grandpa, his side was also Native American, which is kind of interesting, and then so
wow.
it's weird. But what do you know what Parmenter is?
Bro. Nah, man, I got no idea. See, no one tells me anything. Seriously, my grandma has told me nothing. No one knows. No one knows. That's why I'm gonna have to do ancestry.com.
Have to go down the rabbit
I think
hole.
that's the only route I have to figure this out. I take matters in my own hands.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And it's crazy how with wedding that does tie into weddings. We'll tie it back in because the way that people do names. And it's crazy. I've done a couple weddings this year where it was a couple doctors, and all their bridal party were doctors, and a lot of them, that had got their degrees with their maiden name, they choose not to take on their husband's name because of that's their degree, and it's kind of a weird situation.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. But Lindsey, we're excited to have you here. We heard you. I was listening to you. You were on another podcast. It was released how long ago?
Oh, wow, you really get around to these podcasts.
Yeah.
Stop it. It was released.
You're on tour. You're on the podcast tour.
Road trip. It was released last week, but we recorded it probably 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
You like doing the podcast?
I like doing it. I need to get better at not saying and so much, but I think
yeah.
with time it should get better.
Yeah. I've had to learn a lot. Or even right there.
Yeah, I know. Now it's all I'm going to be able to think about. Yeah.
Especially doing my YouTube videos and stuff. I'm there's sometimes I just watch it. I'm
we just need to do it and then just have it edited afterwards, just to edit out the likes and ums. So it's we didn't say it.
2 hours to take them all out.
Yeah.
It's cut.
Everyone can tell.
Yeah.
It doesn't flow as well.
Let's try not to be super self-conscious.
Right.
I'll be
oh yeah,
even right there.
I
get
pausing.
too much in my head.
I will say though, when I listen to other podcasts, I don't notice when people do it.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think it's one of those things that you really notice about yourself specifically.
Yeah, when you're listening to your own podcast and you're on it, you're
I sound like an idiot.
Yeah, and I don't like my laugh. I'm what is that laugh? I don't. That's not okay.
People say you have a good laugh.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh man, well there's some generous people out there because
it's a unique laugh. I like.
No. Sometimes it's an awkward, nervous laugh, and I'm I don't know what to say.
It's just part of your personality.
I guess so, man.
But let's get into it. So you've been a total freelancer 100% this last year, right?
Oh yeah, a little bit over a year.
That's awesome. And what did you do pre full-time freelance?
Pre full-time freelance. I was a graphic designer. I actually worked for a local newspaper where like those community newspapers that like just this one town will have. Or,
yeah.
I did graphic design for them because all the local businesses that would advertise in the paper, like they don't have graphic designers, So I would design their ads for the paper.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Working with some pretty not good logos.
Really?
Oh, no.
I'm like, God, there's only so much I can do to make this ad look good. This logo. Oh.
We'll have to show you our the wedding workflow logo. Have you seen it yet?
Oh wait, I think I did. I think when you sent me a link, it was like blue and okay.
What do you think? Give us your analysis.
I think it's not bad. It's not bad. There's not 25 fonts in it.
Yeah.
So therefore that is my standard. If it doesn't have
like a million fonts.
You're good.
Yeah, and like I did that all through Canva, and then I have my friend Logan, who's really good with like vector. I have him make it look good.
Shout out to Logan.
Yeah, so shout out to Logan Roberts. We appreciate you, bro.
Yes. Shout out to Canva. God bless Canva.
Oh yeah,
Truly.
amazing.
Take a moment.
I will say, like especially your social media content, like that graphic design really plays into it because your stuff is.
Thank you.
It's looking good.
Yeah, I try to pay attention to the colors that I use to kind of like even like you think of like fast food and like you get hungry from just like seeing the colors like red and yellow because you're so used to McDonald's. So I try to have certain colors remind people of like my work. So I really overuse like the colors like pink and teal.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, that's a really good
thing.
Even like kind of what you're like you got the bright colors
my
going
outfit,
on today.
Yeah.
So what does pink and teal represent for you? Like what does it?
It's just my favorite color.
Oh, okay.
I literally,
Cool.
when I first started taking photos, I did one of those things where you could run your Instagram through this app that tells you like what are your feed colors.
Yeah.
And it was something that people would do around the new year. I don't know why. And so apparently, according to that app, I used a lot of pink and teal. So I was just like, I'm keeping it up.
Yeah. Just double down.
I'm
on
like
it.
just naturally drawn to those colors.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and you have like kind of, especially when I really like the pink towers that you shot up in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, those are iconic.
Every time I see those, I'm like, I want to go there, but then I never realize actively go there and check it out.
You should. Like I was driving past that like on the highway for like years, and I never thought it was possible to like see it up close.
Yeah.
And then I just looked up the address. I'm like, I'm going. And it is like it's a parking lot, and it just has those, so it's very accessible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's sweet.
What company is that?
Mally's Chocolate.
Oh, that's right.
And actually, if you guys follow the page Accidentally Wes Anderson.
Oh yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, there was a picture of those towers, and it's probably the only thing from Cleveland that they've ever featured.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Huh.
Represent.
Yeah, I like that. Accidentally Wes Anderson. I found them. I think on Twitter, and then I followed them on Instagram, and they have a book. I think they have a book.
They just released a book. I want to get the
sweet.
book, but the book is like $40 or something, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll probably pull the trigger.
It's one of those things you're like I should probably do it.
I don't need this. I just really want it.
Yeah, I actually just bought my first like photography book from this guy Matt Day, he's from Chillicothe, Ohio. He's big into like film photography, and he has a really good YouTube channel. And he had like a limited re-release of like an older book, and he's a phenomenal photographer.
That's so sick.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him on we're starting one that's like a sister podcast to this called The Creative Workflow, where it's just more like photography that doesn't have to do with weddings necessarily. But I'm gonna interview like artists and stuff, and I want to get Matt Day on the podcast. So.
Speaking it out into the universe.
Yeah, speaking it out there. If he somehow hears this. Ohio boys, you got to represent.
Ohio boys. With a Z.
So this year, you went into full-time photography and,
What a year to do that.
Yeah,
what a year, guys.
Our friend Emily did that this year too. And
really?
She's done really good. We had her on the podcast back in I think February, like right before it happened, and she's still been doing. She's kind of did what you did, like she was like, all right, like we're gonna just roll with it and find work.
Yeah.
It's still out there.
It's still out there.
Yeah,
you just have to pivot a little bit. Like for a little bit, I stopped doing quite as many like portraits and things like that, and it was like more doing like products and stuff that I didn't necessarily need to be around people to do. So just like. Pivoting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So how did it affect like weddings? Because we did a wedding. Was it I forget when it was.
Man, that was like I think the first wedding I did of the season.
Oh, okay.
Because it was early on.
Yeah.
I'm bad at months. June,
yeah, I'm like,
maybe.
When was that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was so hot.
I was up in
right?
that weird tower.
Yes. I'm king of the castle. I'm DJ of the castle.
It was an interesting layout.
So what was it like making that jump from?
Making that jump.
So we talked about this, and I know it's been a topic in the previous, but I'm always so interested in like what it's like for each person because I know that's a very scary jump to go from
so
part-time to full-time, self-employed.
So it was like a little bit less scary because I had tried my luck at it before. So I learned a lot during that time. So when I first graduated from college, I had another graphic design job for Joanne Fabrics, actually, the corporate office.
Cool. The one up in
Hudson, Ohio. Yeah. So I was under contract for a year, and my contract was up, and they like didn't renew it, and I was like, oh my god, like.
So you're thrust into the.
Yeah. So I was like, I am doing this. This is the universe telling me I am ready, even though I'd only been taking photos for like maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Like I did not know what I was doing. I was charging like $50 for like a shoot, just way too low. And
you're like, I'll charge you $50. Is that if that's okay?
Is that okay?
You still feel that nervousness.
Like please.
You're like,
please
I want this gig,
me.
but I also don't want them to like be turned off by the amount.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like what a confidence issue. Like TBT.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot like that time around where I'm just like I didn't have like regular clients. Like I didn't have any kind of pricing system. Like my website wasn't very good. Like I was not prepared. So then I got another graphic design job, and then I was like, I'm going to very thoughtfully jump into full-time again. And so I basically made a list of all these things I wish I had when I was doing it the first time. So like list of like equipment, an amount that I wanted to have in my savings account, an amount of like weddings in the books for like the coming season, and to keep the like financials, like I'm definitely going to be getting some here. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so how many weddings did you do this year?
10.
Nice. Okay, that's not bad. Like we both taken like significant like cuts to the amount of weddings we've had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How many were you guys supposed to have versus like how many did you end up?
For me, I think it was close to like 30. I think.
Yeah, I know for the total amount of events for Headtrauma Team was like, probably like closer to like the 110, 120.
Wow.
And that dropped pretty drastically.
Yeah.
So, but most people postpone. So next year will just be very insane. So
that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be very, very, very crazy. So, but definitely lost a lot.
Yeah, and like luckily for us, like we were able to kind of shuffle people around, and like we have like a few DJs that we can kind of.
Yeah,
switch.
we're lucky for that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So we didn't lose a ton. Like lose, we didn't lose a ton. But
yeah, I couldn't imagine being. Yeah, it'd been hard. Being like solo, like not to be able to like have somebody you could pass it off to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy. So when you pivoted, kind of, so at the beginning when COVID kind of hit, and did you immediately get like a bunch of people like postponing or anything like that?
So wedding wise, like I didn't really get a lot of people postponing like yet. Like during quarantine, I was like reaching out to like all of the like weddings I was supposed to be having like the first half of the summer, and I'm just like, hi, like just checking in. What are you guys? What's going on? And they're all like, we'll get back to you when it's sooner to our date. Like we just want to like. They were like, there's no way COVID's going to be going on in June. No way.
Little do they know.
But we'll let you know. And for the most part, people kept their days, but they just had like way smaller events where it would be like a backyard wedding instead. There's only one that like postponed to like a later day in the summer.
Okay.
And it like worked out okay. They were like, do you have this date available? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah, great.
Oh, nice.
So it was actually pretty easy, which I'm thankful for.
That's great. Yeah.
And so when that happened, what was your kind of strategy? Like you're like, all right, I need to kind of get more clients. How did you go about that?
Like for weddings?
Or just in general, I guess.
In general, for me, I had noticed like social media and how I saw some people utilizing it really well, and I was like, I want to be like, I want to be one of those people that just makes it so easy, like just getting clients that way. So what I noticed with clients was a big like question mark for them of like hiring someone was like, I don't know who you are, like it's just like that uncomfortableness of like, I don't know who I'm working with, like, or like DMing a stranger to have them take photos of you. It's just like a weird thing. So I started like putting myself like out there more, like on my story, so people felt like I was like their friend and like they knew me, and like so it would make them more likely to then like pull the trigger and like message me and like set something up.
Yeah. Oh, that's really great. Yeah, that's a really great idea. I did notice like people like have done it really well, and that is something that seems like is like really putting their themselves out there more and putting their face out front, and yeah, that's a really great idea.
Thank you. It's definitely like intimidating, like when you first do it, like if you're not used to doing it, it's just like, everybody's looking at me. But the more you do it and put yourself out there, like the easier it becomes.
I'm trying to put more out there lately, and I saw that you had started posting more to TikTok too. How's that kind of been going?
I love TikTok so much. I actually did get a was it like a beauty brand reached out to me because they saw one of my TikToks and they were like, hey, do you want to like do some product photography for us? And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
I'm hoping some more stuff like that happens. I took a break from TikTok when I heard that the government was gonna
shut it down.
Yeah, I was like,
now we're in this weird like limbo. I don't know what's gonna happen, but
I think it's here to stay. I kind of think it's safe now, so I'm like, okay, I can utilize this again.
Carson, have you messed with TikTok at all?
I have not messed with TikTok too much. No, I was really worried it was going to just like take over my life.
It's addicting.
So I did. I always get worried about that. I kind of get attached to those type of apps sometimes a little too much.
And then you're like,
but I do want to play around with it. Do you TikTok?
Yeah, I was into it a lot like January, and then I kind of stopped for a while, and then recently I started it back up.
You make videos?
Yeah, I've been.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now I've just been doing
one in this very room.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, Adam.
I've been having fun with the mirrors.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Is it hard to get views? Like, how do you get views on there? Like, what's the key?
It's a weird app.
You really just have to put stuff out there and hope people like it.
Yeah.
And what's also weird though, it's like it doesn't have that instant gratification thing that like Instagram will have, where it's like you check the post an hour later and it's got like 200 likes and you're like, great. Like TikTok, it's like, okay, you might post it and an hour later it'll have only 5 views and you're just like,
then like a random,
I feel so bad about myself, and then like 2 weeks later or something random, it'll suddenly like have like 1,000 views like that day, and you're just like, what? Like I'm morphing into the next version of myself.
This on my All Circles podcast, I have this guy Carter. He's got like 300 and something thousand followers on TikTok, but he does like drawings and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's one of those people that like found like his niche, like the thing. There's some people that would like, if they do the same type of video each time, they blow up. And I've been trying to find something like that, but I've just been experimenting with it, and
it's hard. I gotta say, it is like a puzzle, because I think like we've been so used to the same like maybe like 3 channels of social media, like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and so it's like we've gotten like adjusted to like what content works for those, and it's like such a game changer because it's so different. Like we just have to, I don't know, we have to think different. Nice problem solving. Nice little problem solving in this content world.
So speaking of social media, so what is your brand like position, and how would you describe your style?
Whoa, my brand position. I would definitely describe my style, because I do so many different, like I do wedding, lifestyle, portraits, so many different types of photography, and I'd say my style between them all is I'm like more of like a high contrast photographer, and I definitely utilize like the colors that are like around to make them like as bright and bold as, you know.
As you can. And I definitely get that from like your Instagram and everything. Like you really like embrace the bold colors, and I like the bold colors too. That's kind of my style too. So, but we were talking, I think before we started, I don't think about like your color scheme.
Color scheme. What were you guys saying?
Or were you saying like
the pink and blues? So when I'm shooting, like I basically like look around for like stuff that's like within those colors, or like I even like set up the shoot to be like at a place that has those colors.
Even your phone's got the
my
similar
phone,
color.
literally pink and blue, 100%.
Gotta stay on praying.
Yeah.
Like one time I was taking pictures of this one couple on their wedding day, and we're like walking around Cleveland. They're just like, we'll stop wherever you want us to stop to take photos. And I'm like, great. I have so much power. And we stop at, there's like this cool like hot pink mural downtown that has like these like teal and like green like stripes, like vertical stripes. It's so cool. And it's so not like wedding vibes, but I was like, would you guys like mind if I were to you know? Nice. And so like when I send the gallery, it's like, okay, those ones probably aren't going to be their favorites out of like there's more natural ones, or you know, there's so many different aesthetics more with like the Cleveland skyline, etc. But like that's the pink one is like the one that I'm going to be posting, because that's like I want.
Yeah,
that's like you're like, I took this one for me.
I'll do this one for
that's really cool.
This is for my content.
Do you love shooting in Cleveland? Like, is there a lot of spots?
There are a decent amount of spots, and like I feel like it's not overdone yet.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like LA, everyone shoots at like, what is that, like white light
yeah,
like,
the light, I know which one you're talking about.
Is that like their contemporary museum of art or something?
So
there's so many spots in like other cities that are very overdone, and I feel like Cleveland, they're just I don't know, it doesn't feel that way. It kind of feels like fresh and like exciting still. I went up to with a group last Monday. We went to the Cleveland Observatory. I saw that place was awesome. Place is so there's cool. So many, I feel like there's a ton of like little spots like that around Cleveland that I'm like, man, I'm only like an hour away. Like, why don't I go to Cleveland more often? There's so much to explore.
I love Cleveland. I'd love to spend more time up there. I think it's like great. It's just, I don't know, it just seems like there's so much to do and just a good time.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. So what is one unique or interesting item or thing, something in your gear that you use?
Oh, a unique thing in my gear? Yeah. Whoa. Wild and out. I mean, I feel like my gear is pretty berserk. I mean, I guess a unique thing is that I like use like a holster for like 2 of my cameras now, and I feel like, I mean, that's not like unique to wedding photographers, but to a couple that's like seeing that, they're just like, oh man, like oh, she's out here, she's taking some pictures today.
What do you use?
Holster wise, it's just like a black one from Amazon.
Oh, nice.
My other friend, her name's Kendrick at Dawn. She's also a wedding photographer. She does more like moody kind of weddings, and she sent me a link for it. She was like, I got this one, and I was like, that's great. Awesome. Nice.
That's really cool.
Already researched, amazing.
I was just showing you. I got that hold fast, the double strap.
Yeah, that one was beautiful. Yeah, I wish mine was like more simple like that. Mine kind of has like some like, I don't know, what to even call it, silver.
Oh, like embellishments.
Embellishments,
yeah. Luckily,
I'm like, you know the word.
Facebook Marketplace. I got it for like $100.
Incredible.
And those are usually like $200. I was like, score.
Adam loves Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I've been.
More than anyone else I know.
I found that all that film for that film for like super cheap. Oh man, it's crazy. So have you said you experimented, or you before you did something with Polaroid, like teaching people how to use Polaroids?
Oh wow, yeah.
What's your experience with like film photography?
So film, I haven't done a ton of like film specifically, but Polaroids for sure. I think it's really cool to get into Polaroids, like especially when you're first taking photos, because you kind of learn. You learn like that you should be setting up the composition, and you should be doing all these things before you just like snap away. Yeah. You know, it kind of like teaches you patience and like, oh wait, let me like sit back and let me think about this image I'm creating. So I think it's an awesome thing, and I think beginners specifically should like get into that before they even pick up a digital camera. Yeah, because you learn like, especially with film photography, each shot you're taking is costing you money, and so you really treasure those like 36 shots. Yeah, and you might even get 36 shots back. I'm always bummed when they're like 32, and I was like, what happened? No, I messed it up. The first time I used a film camera, so it was my dad's Canon, like what's like the really basic AE1? AE1. So it hadn't been used in like several years, and I find it, and I'm just like, Dad, you're artsy. You have this thing, and he's like, yeah. That's awesome. I'm not artsy, don't call me that, but yes, I have this thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna do this thing. It was my senior year of high school. I had just graduated high school, and I was like, I'm gonna take like a special portrait of like each of like my like best friends in my life, and then I just think that'll be a cool thing to look back on and like things change over the years, but also have like these moments and memories. And so I get it developed, and something happens where all the photos that I shot, it became like this massive double exposure. So it was just, I was left with just one photo. But it was kind of cool though in the end though, because it was like all these people that I love in one photo, and you couldn't really point out like who was who.
Oh wow!
But it like looked
kind of
cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, art.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. Like actually, our one of Carson's photographers, Bao, he was here, and I was showing him this whole thing of 8 photos from a Polaroid that I just like. For some reason, the camera was wasn't like spreading the development enough, and he was like he rearranged them. He's like, you could just like frame this and make it like it would be art. And I'm like,
honestly,
you're right.
Yeah, it's like embrace the mistakes. The mistakes are what makes it art. That's before I did photography, I was doing like pen and ink illustration was like my like main outlet. And I remember like a teacher I used to draw in pencil first and then do pen over it, and a teacher was like, enough with that, like just pen straight up only, like do not use pencil. If you make a mistake, like then like you make something out of that mistake, and like it's not a mistake anymore. Like that is what makes it art, is like those things. And I think the same way, like that mindset applies to so many other things.
Yeah, that's good.
But something film photography really taught me is like how to set like manual exposure and learn like, all right, in this kind of light, I need to set it like this, and I need to compensate. Because like with the digital camera, I was getting so frustrated that most of the time I would just use like the aperture priority, and I'd set the aperture to where I wanted and let the camera just do everything else on its own. And
enough of this.
Yeah, now I have like a better understanding of like, okay, how do I expose for this type of light? Where am I going? What am I going for? You gain so much control from shooting film.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But cool. So what's the toughest lesson that you've done or that you've learned from doing weddings?
From doing weddings?
Did you start like second shooting for someone, or did you?
I had second shot for like a friend from college for like 2 weddings, and then I just like started like doing them on my own. I was like, enough of this.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But I learned so much from like my first wedding. This was probably like I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. I lose track of time, probably 3 years ago. It was like my first wedding, and it was such a long day. I didn't have in my contract that like I should get breaks or like I should get food at some point. And this girl, like, I mean, bless her heart, she was probably just, trying to, you pay a lot for a wedding photographer. You want to like use them. Yeah. But she was really taking advantage of it. Like, I don't think I had water until like 9 p.m. at night, and I like started at like 8 a.m. And like it was like, no breaks for food, no breaks for water. It was like, she would like eye me down if she saw me just like, like talking to a guest or something. And it was like,
what the heck?
It was so like, I'm like, God, I feel like I'm working in a sweatshop. I was like, I don't think I like shooting weddings. And then I adjusted my contract and kind of realized like, no, like you can't do like good work if you're not like having these basic human
needs. You're not hydrated.
Yeah, exactly. So that it's just like, no, this isn't like, I'm not taking advantage of you guys. Like, this is literally like how you're gonna get like good magical shots, as if I am hydrated and
you're
I'm
like
not starving.
You can't get pictures if I'm passed out.
Yep, 100%. You can't think of a composition when you like don't have.
Yeah, or if my hands are shaky from not having any.
Have you had anybody else try to stare you down since? Or?
No, now I feel like I feel like I've just like gained some kind of confidence or something. Where they're just like, oh, we're just not gonna question it. Like,
yeah. You gotta. I mean, especially like when like you're the one that's setting all the like the expectations, like setting that expectation, like, hey, look, I'm working like a 12-hour day or 14-hour day or whatever. Like, I'm gonna need some time to just like breathe.
Yes. like the first one for sure, I let the bride kind of be like my boss, and now it's like, no, I'm my own boss, guys.
That's good though. Giving yourself some downtime.
And it's made the photos like way better.
Yeah, and like when you have like food in your system, you're not like shaky.
We love not being shaky. It's our favorite thing.
Yeah, you gotta have that still like surgeon like hand. You know? So shed some light on like your workflow with clients. Like what like if someone was listening wanted to hire you, like what would the process look like?
So usually you would fill out, I have like an inquiry form on my website, and so from there we would just like start talking, which like you'd probably ask for my rates. I'd give you my rates, and we'd set up a time to like chat, probably over the phone. I used to meet in person, but probably over the phone, so we can just like, I don't know, like get to know each other, like kind of like be friends, and like I want to hear about your wedding. I want to like hear about this like man that you're gonna marry. Yeah. And I think that's a good way to know if you guys are like kind of on the same wavelength. I think it's important. Like you're spending the whole day with your wedding photographer, so you got to like vibe with them and like, you know, like trust that person. So I think it's really important to just like hear someone's voice and like talk to them a little bit. So then after that, they would probably like, if they were to book me, I send out a contract, and then I have them make a Pinterest board, so I really understand their vibe and can get like the kinds of shots that they like definitely want. It's like, okay, they have this pose in there, great, let's do it. Pocketing this for later. And then I mean, I'm pretty like low maintenance. Like we probably won't talk again until like a month before your wedding, and then I'll give you like a questionnaire of like your specific timeline for the day, and like families' names of like the group photos that you want, things like that. But yeah, pretty low maintenance.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we it's been one of those years where I feel like I've known a lot of the brides, like, and the couples a lot better, because I've just had we've just been in context like so much more than the usual year.
Yeah, for real.
Like,
and I love that, because I love when you can get to the wedding and you just feel like you're already friends. Yeah, like how you said, like just feeling like you're friends, because that's really how it feels like majority of the time. Is that.
I mean, and like you're like watching these people like have this really intimate, like special day. So it's like you definitely want to have that feeling, and not that like I'm this like alien that's just like documenting this thing and I don't have any feeling. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you kind of. So, do you use a second shooter?
I do.
How do you find? Do you use the same person?
I use the same person. Okay. So for a while, I was like, when I was like getting in the groove, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try out this person. I'm gonna try out this person. Blah blah blah. And then this guy Steven Falbo in Stowe, Ohio, he DM'd me on Instagram randomly, and was just like, hey, I just like would love to like meet and like, I don't know, just like get to know you. And like he's like, he's like younger than me. I think he's like just turned 21.
Okay.
And he was like, I really like, I don't want to go to college. I want to do photography. I want to like, you know, hear what like wisdom you have. Like, is there any chance that you would like be able to get coffee with me sometime? And I was like, bet.
Yeah.
Love it when people put themselves out there. Nice. I'm like, that's awesome. Let's do it. So we talk, and he like starts telling me like how passionate he is about like shooting weddings and stuff. So I'm like, oh, bless my soul. So I was supposed to have someone else second shoot this wedding for me. This is like last summer, and like something fell through. And so I was like, it is Steven's chance. Let's see what happens. I reach out to him. He's available. And we just had like the funnest like dynamic. Like first off, the shots that he did were like amazing for me. Like it was very beneficial having him there. But then also just like the fun like energy that he like added to like our dynamic, I think really made like the couple like let loose in like their photos, and like, you know what I mean, like they just like were so comfortable with us, because we're just like laughing the whole time. We're just like, what if we try this, or like, oh my god, what if we did this kind of photo, like that would be so crazy. And they're just like, let's do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Like having somebody that like has that outgoing personality, like especially on a wedding day, because like there's some, depending on the kind of wedding, there's always that like air of stress, and like usually by the time like the reception happens, like we don't really feel it as much. But I feel like the getting ready part is the most like, that's where everybody like has their emotional breakdowns, and like it all happens at and you're there for all of it.
Yeah, and you see it all.
I'm like, oh, you crying? Like, captured.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's fun though, and he shot with me exclusively as my second shooter this whole summer, which was so much fun. And we even got to the point with like couples where like we like were in like the photo booth with them, and like,
oh no, just having fun. Yeah.
He was like, we should ask this couple if we should do shots. If we can do shots with them. And I'm like, I don't know. I think the photo booth might be enough. Maybe next time.
Oh, that's funny. There's been some some of those like those weddings where they're like, they just go nuts. And like
nutso gutso.
Yeah, I love those. I mean, they're fun to DJ for sure.
Oh yeah. I like it when like you feel like you're like a part of the party and like just can let loose. And
I think it's important, especially like when you're like capturing it. That was another thing when I was like shopping around for second shooters, was a lot of them were like, I will not drink at the reception. Like they were like very like, I was like, I'm getting myself a beer. Like, do you want anything? And they're just like, no, I don't drink on the job. Everyone, I do not. And I'm just like, I mean, like we're capturing this like fun. You kind of have to be in that mindset, so then you can like really get those moments with the guests. You know, if like they're like, oh, like they're cool, they're with us, they're, you know, they're gonna open themselves up more to like being photographed and like being crazy and whatever. Steven's not afraid to drink, which is awesome.
I always ask the couple beforehand if it's okay with them, but then like they're usually like, yeah, we want you to go and like bring the energy. I'm like, all right,
bring the energy.
I'm like, but what do you have you ever drank at weddings or?
No, I don't think I have. No. Yeah, okay. I know, right? I don't think I have.
What's your stance? How come?
No, I don't.
I need focused.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that has something, you know, to do with it. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think I just started out like never doing it, and I'm always like, oh, what if I do it and then I can't focus or something? Yeah. I don't know. Like I just kind of get in my head about it, I guess. I don't know, anxiety. Anxiety issues.
Times.
I mean, I obviously I don't go overboard, but I'm
like,
always like
2 drinks max.
Yeah.
Well, that and like there's a lot of sometimes there can be a lot of stereotypes about DJs and stuff out there, and it's way more common than you'd think for like DJs to go overboard while DJing. And I don't know what it is. Like there are some bad. I mean, there's good stereotypes, but there's a lot of bad stereotypes about DJs, and unfortunately, a lot of them can sometimes be true for people. But a lot of people have these horror stories that seem to mostly be about DJs, like, you know, getting very intoxicated after the wedding. And I think that part probably worries me the most, because if they see me getting the drink, I wouldn't want them to think like, is that his first one or is that his fifth one type thing, because they you know they're not looking all the time. And I think like that's just such a thing that I just don't get. I mean, I don't know why, but it is just a thing that I'm just like so worried that like, what if they look at and think that that's happening, or because you know, a lot of it has to do with like the Facebook groups and stuff, because these people talk about those type stories. So like, I worry that like if they're looking through those groups and everything, that's kind of already in there. Maybe they've seen something like that or heard a story, and like I just don't want to spark up any fears for them. On the day. Very responsible of you. So that's where I guess I get it from. Now I've never heard of I seriously don't think I've ever heard of a horror photography story about them getting too drunk. Like you just don't hear about it. But DJs. Like bridal shows, I seriously have gotten that so many times. They're like,
dang.
They're like, yeah, this person and my family had a DJ, and the DJ they got super drunk, and it's just like, how can this be like I've heard this so many times. I mean, it's not like a once in a while like thing. I mean, it's like a good amount of time. I'm like, oh geez, okay. But then I do have a lot of people that are like, oh, drink at the wedding, and like I still like, I don't know. I guess it's just that fear of.
And I play like depending on the group. If if it's like a really mellow group, I'm usually just like, I'm not gonna do it. But there's been some weddings where like there's actually 2 where somebody in the family like made their own beer, and there's one wedding where the dad kept giving me like some. I had to like turn him away at one point. I was like, all right, I think I've had one too many, but you can take that back. He's like, you sure? You okay? You need some water? I'm like, I mean, I'm fine, but. Like,
this is a good topic, actually. I'm glad that you brought that up, actually. This actually is a topic, because I actually do get that question or get that brought up pretty frequently, actually, like over the course of a year with couples and everything. So that's very...
Yeah, I don't think we've ever talked about that on the podcast.
That's a really good topic. I have been tipped in alcohol, though, before, and that's always fantastic.
Your dad tipped me in a bottle of... rum.
Yeah. He
was like, you want some of this?
Yeah, I have walked out of weddings with a lot of White Claws. But like seriously, like they're just like, oh well, they're like, hey, would you like to be tipped in alcohol? I'm like, I mean, you don't have to, but like, I guess that's cool. Yeah, I guess that's cool.
Wow. That's funny.
So, but yeah, talking about that's actually another interesting topic, and I've been seeing a lot of posts. on the Facebook groups and stuff of brides, sometimes asking about how if they should tip their vendors or anything. So I'm just interested to see what you guys have to say about that and what you think.
I never expect getting tipped.
Yeah.
Like, it's never something that I've been, like, because it's like they're spending a lot on the service.
Yeah,
like,
already. Yeah.
It blows my mind when someone does tip, because I'm like,
yeah,
you just spent a lot of money. Like, I don't.
Yeah, but this is what I've been noticing. I think almost every wedding that I shot this summer, like, they gave me a tip, and I was
That's awesome, though.
Is this a mistake? Like, wow, yeah, it is awesome, and I'm like, I'm never expecting it, so it's like, wow.
Yeah, I think the first time I got tipped, like the next couple, I was like, kind of like, maybe they'll tip me.
Maybe they'll.
But yeah,
expectations.
Now I'm like, all right, I just, if they tip me, great. If not, like, that's fine too. Like, they've already paid me a lot of money. So.
Yeah, I never expect it. Yeah, because it's the same thing. Like, you're paying so much, and it always catches me off guard and by surprise each time. I will say this year,
what's it called? Such a good move.
Yeah,
like I'm just like, wow, you guys are classy.
Classy move.
Like,
there you go.
Yeah, I think this year I feel like there's been more tips than ever before, and I don't know if that has to do with COVID type
stuff. Yes, it makes sense. We are kind of like risking a lot to be there, right?
Yeah.
I guess apparently, according to DeWine, we are. So I don't know. So yeah, I think I wonder. Yeah, I feel like there's been more tips this year than ever before, but. Yeah, I always like how they come. I feel like for mine, they always come in forms of like these nice like cards that happen in like the very beginning. Yeah, and I actually really like that. I mean, because it does seem like what I've picked up is that if a couple is gonna tip you, they've already decided that prior to the day of the wedding. It's not like, and it's kind of weird because it doesn't really go off the quality of the job. Because like,
100%.
I always get like anytime I'm getting tip, it's always like in the very beginning, or it's like a card with your name on it that was sitting there. So it was already like
the correspondence though that you have with the couple like beforehand though. I think they can already kind of get a sense of like they're gonna do a good job.
Yeah. It's a huge compliment, honestly. Cause it's like, wow, they had like they had that much confidence going into this that this is just gonna be awesome no matter what. And I think
we love that.
That's pretty cool.
I got a really interesting tip this summer. This couple was giving away, like they were giving like gift baskets to like each of their guests, and they gave me like a personalized one.
Oh, wow.
Which I was like, oh my god! Like it had like a mug and coffee because I always post that I love coffee.
That's
and then
so cool.
It also had like a bow tie for my dog.
Wow.
They were like, we see you post your dog all the time.
That is
and
so
I'm like,
much
that is
thought.
So cute. Like,
because
I'm crying.
Just imagine like the bride and groom, like they're always so busy planning a wedding. Like how like they still thought of that detail. Like that is amazing.
Fills my heart with so much joy.
Crazy.
That's super cool.
So what are some podcasts or like or let's say like podcasts or people that you follow on like Instagram that really inspire you?
Ooh, okay. So a podcast that I love is Black with No Cream. It is like a creative podcast, and it's all about how caffeine fuels you. So that's why they call it Black with No Cream. Love that. And people who inspire me. God, there's so many. It's hard. Wedding photography wise, I would say India Earl is very inspiring. Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you, when you were learning, was there anybody that like was mentoring you or?
So I think I actually might have mentioned this in like the previous podcast that I was on, but I'd say like a lot of like the mentorship that I have is like from like my other friends that like also do this.
Oh, okay.
So it's like what I know, like they might not know, and like what they know, like I might not know. So we kind of like can go to each other, which is awesome. My friend Natalie, who I just mentioned, Kendrick at Dawn, like she knows a lot more about like the business end than I do, so I'll tend to go to her if I'm like, what do you think about like doing things this way, like what are your thoughts on like how did you LLC? And she'll like be like, oh, here's the 411, or then like she'll ask me like something about like what like kind of location like looks like this or whatever like that I could go to, and I'm like, oh, I got you on that. So that's cool. Those are like probably my biggest mentors.
That's good to know. It's good to know people that have different skill sets, because you can reach out and always, like Carson, I'm always coming to him with
I'm always coming to everybody else. I learned so much about the industry just by just like this, just talking to people that are in it.
Yeah,
like
for
things that I never would ever have guessed.
Yeah, for sure. And then I heard on your last actually plug that podcast because
so it is, I think it's called the it's the Pixel Connections podcast. They're a camera store in Avon Lake, and it's called like Pints and Pixels.
Pints and Pickles. Pints and Pickles.
Pints and Pickles.
Pints and Pixels.
Pints and Pixels. That's what I was just on. I think they only have 3 episodes out, so it'll be easy to find mine.
Yeah, that was good. I listened to it. You guys had some good conversation, and I enjoyed it. And then you said on that podcast that you have a podcast.
Oh yeah. So I don't have it anymore.
Okay.
But during quarantine, I did have a podcast called the Creatively Speaking Podcast.
Okay. I looked it up and I was like, I can't find it anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll show you after the show.
Okay.
Then.
Maybe I wasn't typing it right.
I'm working on another podcast though, and this one, I'm like, I need to get out of like the creative podcast game, because I'm just like, I talk about creative stuff so much. I'm like, I feel like I want to have like a podcast as like another outlet that's just like different from like my photography. That just like, I don't know, I think that would just work best for me. But this one, it is we're calling it Smells Like Tween Spirit. And it's just like us talking about, it's like me and my best friend talking about like middle school stories and reading like old like teen magazines from like 2001. Like the embarrassing story like moments, like reading those out loud and then just like talking about it, and it's like a funny, cute time.
That sounds sweet. That's kind of interesting.
Soon to be released.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Talking back to middle school, that's a time I don't try to revisit.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to go back there.
Super cringe. But that's the thing though. I feel like when I'm working and stuff, like when I'm editing, like a lot of the time, like I try not to listen to like creative podcasts, because I'm just like, I am already in this.
Yeah.
I want like a story that's like outside of that. I'm just getting like so like drained, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to like murder podcasts or
that's cool.
Yeah, things like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm like I listen to so many podcasts. It's crazy. But yeah. So what are some things that you would like? What's one piece of advice that you give an engaged couple that are kind of planning their wedding? Like, what are some things they should look for when they pick a photographer? And kind of some things like to think of the day of.
Ooh. Okay. Biggest advice. And this like isn't really about like picking a photographer, like this part. My biggest advice is to do what you want to do for your wedding. Don't let like family tradition or things like that get in the way of like what makes sense for you and your guy. Which is easier said than done, but yes, biggest advice. And for picking a photographer, I'd say pick someone who you just feel like you get them, like they get you. You can like joke around with them, like, and you happen to also like their work. That's fun too. But I think like the energy matters so much, because you're spending most of your day with them. You're spending more of your day with them than you are your like bridesmaids or groomsmen. So that's very important. And it comes across like in the photos if you were like comfortable and like having fun with them. What was the third one?
What's something to think about like the day of that maybe people don't think about?
Great question. Pack a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
It's a long, like you're not gonna be eating until the reception. You should pack some kind of like granola bar or something like that.
Something easy and not messy.
You're smiling all day. Smiling takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. Bring an extra toothbrush.
Some Gatorade. An extra toothbrush. Yeah, you never know.
You never know. So I saw that on your Instagram, like you went on this, so you've been working with different brands and stuff too. Talk a little bit about that, and then you took a cross country road trip.
Yeah.
How did that go? What spurred that on?
It was so fun. So this was a year ago, me and my friend Allie, who's also a photographer in the area, we had this idea of we want to get paid to just travel. Like we want to like work with brands and like take content for brands like abroad or like wherever. So we planned this trip where we went to Europe, and we paid for a model to join us, and then we started like pitching away to like different brands and like emailing people. And so one of the brands that hopped on was a local designer, Mixed Fashion. And yeah, so she just makes like super cool, like I'm actually wearing one of her shirts right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
sweet.
I guess this is her vibe.
That's awesome.
But so she was like, yes, I'm like so for this. So she like gave us some clothes and like helped like pay for like, you know, our airfare, you know, essentially.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And so we like got like super cool content for her. And when I was actually getting the clothes from her for the trip, she was like, what you guys are doing sounds so fun. Like, I wish I was like coming. She's like, I'm coming on the next one. Nice. And it was like, okay. And she literally came on the next one.
Wow.
Yeah. So our group, like me and like Allie and Amanda was the model. We just like got so close, and we were like, let's do like another thing. Like, and we decided to go to Marfa, Texas, and we told Jada of Mixed Fashion about it, and she's like, yep, I'm coming. So she like brought a bunch of her clothes, and we just like whipped out some crazy content.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And what was the place? There was it Prada?
Yeah. Prada Marfa. It's an installation there.
That's awesome. Like
literally 25 hours away from Cleveland so far.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Man.
Do you like doing product photography like that? Do you like doing the
like fashion photography? I love it. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a really great idea to be able to travel while doing it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you get a lot of your business through Instagram. Like, what's some ways that you find brands that you want to work with, or do they reach out to you? Sometimes
they reach out to me, and I also like. I would like literally look up hashtags of like coffee or whatever, and like find like brands like that way. I'm always trying to find like smaller brands, like not super like I don't know, like not a brand that's so big that they would be using like an advertising agency to like get their content. So I literally just have a list in my phone now of like all these places. So I've emailed pitched like probably at least a third of the list, but the list is always growing because I'll like see ads or something on Instagram, and I'm just like, yep, adding them to the list. They seem like they're like the vibe. Yeah. But yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool. What's the key to getting work on Instagram?
The key to getting work on Instagram, continue to show that like you are in demand. Like even if you're not, literally like go on your story and be like, I'm shooting this today or something. Just make it seem like you are like so in demand, and then like that has like literally a bandwagon effect to people, and they'll want to hire you. They're like, oh, she's shooting for this product. I'm a product Instagram. Like, maybe she should be shooting stuff for us. Like, it'll just kind of give them ideas. So
nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow, that's really sweet.
And Carson's how you got a new building? You got an update for the Finesse?
Oh, for the other company. Yeah, I do.
I don't know why I thought of that.
Yeah, I don't. I do have another company. Yeah, we do have a building for doing window tinting and stuff now. Dent repair. So yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
Canon, Sony, Nikon. What do you shoot?
Oh, Sony.
Nice.
I started with Nikon, and then I like moved to the F away.
Yeah. I respect people that use Nikon because they're really good cameras. You can get a lot of like really good low light performance. I just think as a company, they're not doing so hot.
Who's that, Nikon?
If I were to be between like Nikon and Canon, I would totally choose Canon. I think the way that the way that the photos come out just look like creamy and like kind of magical. They have like that quality to them, and that's like super nice. But when I was like upgrading from my Nikon, I was like, I want a mirrorless camera. Nikon, their mirrorless was trash. And Sony was having a deal, so that's how I decided that.
There you go. That's how I got the ESR last January. They had like B&H had this pretty big deal on it, so I was like,
love B&H.
Yeah. So what cameras do you shoot on, and what's your favorite like go-to lens?
My go-to lens. I got this. Okay, so I shoot on a Sony A7R2 and R3.
Okay.
They're both Sony's mirrorless full frames, and my favorite lens is a 24mm 1.8. Love it. I could literally never change my lens. I could just use that for everything. Actually, I did use that for everything for like a year. But now I have like a creamy like 85mm as well, and so I kind of like switch between because I kind of like that magical, like everything's so blurry in the background.
Yeah. And with did you say 24 or 28?
28.
28. Okay. I
might have said 24, but 28 though.
28. The cool thing I like about the 28 is that, especially with your style, you involve a lot of the environment in the photos. Yeah. And like, what's your, I guess when it comes to weddings, because with product photography and that kind of stuff, like I can see it. But with weddings, do you shoot portraits with the 28 or?
Oh yeah. I'll do like most of the stuff with the couple with the 28.
Okay.
And then I'll use like the 85 for like reception photos basically,
okay,
so I don't have to like be so close to them as they're like doing the what's it called, like the toast and stuff. Like, I don't want to be in the way of like people and like the ceremony. Yeah,
that's awesome though. So let's see, I'm trying to think of one more
I get right up in there.
Yeah.
We're all getting married.
I'm glad you said that, because I was just previously having a conversation with Bao about it, like a situation where, and I think this would be good for like just the normal viewer to hear, because more than likely they don't know about all these like photography terms. Like I know I don't. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but it sounds great. But but no. So it had to do with, you said that you switched out your lens so that we can be further away, not right up on the bride and groom during the reception.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bao did a wedding, but that person, one of the people that was a part of the wedding perceived it as if he wasn't taking the correct photos because he was so far away.
Oh, really?
And because he wasn't close up. So
what did they...
So wanted to touch on this.
Did they like talk to him, or like, hey, your photos are probably trash or something?
Yeah. Well, they were like, how are, you're not on the floor. Like, I mean, you're not, why are you not up there getting pictures? So I just wanted to like touch base on that just in case. Now that's never came up anytime. But in case maybe, hey, since one person had the thought, maybe somebody else out there would have the thought. Yeah. So about how like, no, the reason why you don't have to be up close is because you have the correct lens that allows you to be further back.
I will say, like, I think it's so important, like, and this is something that I noticed with like videographers, or like when I'm like a guest at weddings, I'll always notice like the photographers, and I'm like, I think it is like, you should try to be a ninja. Like, you should try to actively not be like a focal point and like in the way of like the guest experience and like the couple's experience. So I try to like stay as like far away and like crouch down, not like, you know what and not stay in the same place for like too long, where like if there was someone behind me, they'd be like, God, like we should have picked a different seat. I think that's like very important.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's because like maybe people's perception of like photography is like, oh well, on the iPhone camera, if you zoom in too far, it's not a good photo, but just thought that was something interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I mean, I can see that, like it takes a while to get like used to what lenses do what and what. So for like someone that doesn't know photography at all, that could be very.
And they see like a first dance happening, and the person's
like,
further back than what they would. What you would be with your iPhone, maybe. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Like no, like it's just the correct lens to where they can get the correct shot.
Yeah, and with the like some of the like the 85, and like some people do like shoot on a 70 to 200.
Yeah.
Some of those you have to be like super far back
like
for it to.
So far back.
Yeah. So I just thought that interesting topic that came up actually just earlier today.
Wow.
So,
look at it. Up to date.
Yeah.
So going forward the next year, like 2021, what are your like dreams and aspirations?
My dreams. Great question. I should have more of them. I mean, really, I like the way that my career has been going so far. I just want to just keep on like going up the hill, I guess. I want to like get more weddings and like do even more product work and like go on more trips. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, I like how things are, and my goals are just to do more of it.
That's awesome. What are some things that you want to do? Do you want to do more like destination kind of stuff?
I would love to do a destination. Like, I would die to do a destination. Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard, there was like this, I am like on the Knot and Wedding Wire and all that. The Knot had some kind of like person hack them.
Oh no.
And so it was like this person that like, so they emailed me and were like, hey, like I'm looking to like book a photographer like in the next month for a like Colorado elopement. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, it's happening.
You're like, I'm ready.
It's happening. I'm ready. Oh, I will be here. And then I'm like, so I start giving them like my information or like, well, whatever about like deposit and like, this is like my rates and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, okay, great. So we're thinking like you pay the venue and then the venue will then like pay you. And it was like this weird thing. And it's like, wait, why wouldn't you guys just pay me? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, like, why am I giving you
like,
that?
what's going on? And then like, so I'm like starting to like ask questions, and I realize like it is totally like like this scammer guy. Like, it's not like a real thing. And I was so heartbroken. And then I was like
sad.
talking to other friends that are on the knot and stuff, and they were like, the same thing happened to me. I thought I was doing this Colorado destination. I'm like,
I just got one on Sunday.
Man.
Oh no.
Like that.
Oh, it's so devastating.
For that, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, and like it was
they're probably just spamming
or
people.
Or was it on the knot? I feel like the knot kind of like...
It was the knot, I think.
Figure their stuff out.
Yeah.
Like on the
but
their interface is not cute.
Yeah.
I just want to say that publicly. It's not cute. Wedding wire forever.
Yeah. It's do you advertise on those platforms? Or
I do,
yeah.
Oh, okay, actually,
cool.
So Wedding Wire like acquired the knot, or maybe
they're like one company now.
Yeah, they're one company. Yeah. So I was going to just cancel like all that during quarantine, and then I was like, actually, I feel like people would be like, since everything's slowed down, people will be like looking into photographers more than ever. So actually, I'm just gonna renew, and I like upgraded to like being like on the knot and Wedding Wire.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because that's like an option now.
Yeah.
I was like,
have you found a lot of success with the Wedding Wire and the knot?
Yeah.
Good.
So, like, my rule of thumb with them was I just need to, like, book, like, one wedding through them for it to be, like, worth it. So, like, and I think I booked, like, 4 weddings through them. So I'm like, okay, this is, like, more than worth it.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, that's, do you recommend the Wedding Wire and the knot for brides planning their wedding?
Yeah, if you don't know, like, if you don't already know, like, a photographer that you, like, vibe with, definitely, like, to get some ideas, like for me, like planning my own wedding, it's like, so I already know like all these photographers and I kind of know like what style I vibe with. So I just like reached out personally to someone. Yeah. But I think if you like do not know that world at all, I think it's a great like place to browse and know what's available in your area.
Yeah.
That's really true. I think for that, I feel like if you find somebody you think you vibe with, I would maybe even like venture off of the Wedding Wire and the knot once you find them on there, and then check out their social medias and everything. Yeah. Try to get them to know on a more personal level, because like being like on the other end of advertising or not, I feel like, you know, it's like it's hard to like express all that through just like their page, and like you're probably going so fast.
Oh yeah.
So like definitely try to like check out their more personal like spaces, like social media, the website. Check out, like, go a little bit more in depth than just their profile on the Wedding Wire.
100%.
Yeah. Get to know them a little bit more.
It's like vendor side, like on the vendor side, it's like we get so many inquiries because it's like it's just so like they make it so easy, just like tap there to ask them like their rates or whatever.
Yeah.
And it, like we'll send you an email and people just like go like ham on that.
Like
they don't
everybody.
everyone. So it's like, who are you actually interested in? Like I would love it if people inquiring about me were actually, you know,
me
like,
too. Yeah.
Gung ho. That's why I love it when people reach out like through my website, because I'm like, they like took the time and like they were on here. They like know who I am. Like seem pretty serious.
Yeah.
You want to plug your website?
www.lindseypoyar.com.
That's Lindsey with a
Lindsey with an EY, Poyar with an AR. Yeah. Which everyone, it's
all right.
A life struggle.
Yeah. Mine's like always, I'm always like Adam Robb with 2 B's.
Nice.
Why not?
Why not?
And then what's your Instagram handle?
And my Instagram is Lindsey Poy.
Lindsey Poy. And then I had a question. So you got a new tattoo. I saw that recently.
You got 2 tattoos. So I got this guy and this.
And the little.
Wow, I like those.
So I know, like the rainbow is kind of like your signature. Like it's on you. Like
it's
you
on
post
like
it
all
everywhere.
of my stories. Yeah.
What's the? Did you just? Were you like I like rainbows?
Like, no, actually. So I was really wanting to get like a photo related tattoo, and I was like, I feel like a camera is overdone. I feel like this is overdone, and I'm like, what is like the thing that like makes my photography stand out? And I'm like, okay, like it's like my use of colors.
Yeah.
So I was going to be getting like a color wheel was like my thought.
Okay.
But then that's also actually kind of overdone as well.
Oh really?
Like, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like the more I was like looking into it, I'm just like, this is just like, I don't know. So I got a rainbow instead, because it's honestly like it looks like half of a color wheel anyway.
Yeah.
So
That's true. Yeah.
just, like, it just really
I like
works
it a
out.
lot. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very clean lines.
Yeah.
Nice. And then the
And then this is like representative of like the Texas like content trip that I just
Oh,
took.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
I thought it was because you're like, I'm a lucky person.
I know, right?
Oh, really? Yeah, no. Like I really vibed with the South when I was just there.
Nice. That's awesome.
Love the Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah,
vibes.
good old Texas Roadhouse.
Good old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add? Anything that you want the people out there to know about Lindsey?
What do I want them to I don't know.
If you live in Colorado and you're listening to this.
Oh yeah, if you are hello, if you are like from out of town and you would love to hire someone to fly out to your wedding, I'm your girl. Right here.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Anywhere that's more interesting than Ohio, hit us up. That's awesome. So yeah, well, we appreciate you coming on here, and now you're a 2-time podcast guest. Look at that.
Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Second on the podcast tour for you.
Yep.
Glad
that you can make this stop.
Next stop, Colorado.
Next stop, Colorado. That'd be sweet. So we thank you for coming on here. Anything to add, Carson?
I think that's good. We got her channels plugged in, right?
Yeah, we got everything. Do you have any what's your TikTok?
Oh, my TikTok, it's also Lindsey Poyar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Get on that
there.
Nice.
Do some duets. But yeah, so this has been another episode of the Wedding Workflow Podcast. We thank you guys for stopping by, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Wedding Workflow Podcast. Join us next Wednesday for another episode, and if you've enjoyed our show, please leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts to help us move up in the rankings. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at WedWorkflowPod, and you can find us on Facebook at The Wedding Workflow. Also, please send us an email with any questions or topics you'd like us to cover at theweddingworkflow@gmail.com, and we will see you next week.